Hello, welcome back to another SUPboarder video. This time we're going to be looking at the Sandbanks SUP style, and we've got two of their new boards for this year. We've got the Ultimate Art 10.6 in some very fresh and unique colorways. These boards are all-round paddle boards, and definitely at their cheaper price point, they're going to get a lot of people onto the water for the first time. So a little bit of information about the Sandbanks SUP style. They're based on the south coast of the UK. They started making paddleboards back in 2014, and we have already reviewed one of their 10.6 Ultimates from last year on SUPboarder. And one of our criticisms for last year was the board was a bit dull. It was a very well made board that will easily get people on the water and great for the all-round paddling, but the graphics weren't exactly that eye-catching. This is their answer back to us. They've made 4 different colorways of that board now, and there's been a few other subtle tweaks as well. There is the Malibu, which is this board here. There's the Reef graphic here, and you can also get the Amazon and the Maui graphic as well. Sandbanks SUP style themselves are a small family-run business. They give 3-year warranties with all their boards, and the other interesting thing is they do give a part of their profits to charity, and they've given £5,000 to date to charities like Cancer Research and Macmillan, so it really is worth a little mention of that as well. So aside of all that, what are these boards all about and what are their specifications? Well, these are all-round paddle boards designed to get you into paddling first time, or generally have as your all-round paddleboard. Inflatable paddle boards these are. They're 10'6" long, they are 32 inches wide, and they are 6 inches thick. Have a volume of 290 litres, and they weigh 9.5 kilograms. So they're actually a fairly lightweight paddleboard. They come as standard as 2+1 fin setup, so that's 2 mini plastic fins with a center bigger fin, which we'll talk about in a minute. And they retail at £549 as a package with a standard aluminium paddle, or you can upgrade to £649 and get a carbon paddle, both 3-piece paddles with that package. The materials of all these Ultimate Art boards are the same. Internal coil drop stitch, fused outer layer of PVC, welding that board all together, making it very strong and airtight. So looking at a few standout features of these boards, obviously the most standout feature is probably going to be the graphics. It is nice that you can get a cheap price point board that is of an interesting graphic, and there's enough choice out there in that graphic as well. I personally love the Maui color, very similar graphic ways to the Malibu, except using a dark blue instead of a light blue. And when you get up and close and personal to these boards, they're all very well printed on. They don't look like they're stuck onto the PVC at all, so the quality of the graphic is really nice, and it does fit a good place on the market, a cheap price point board that looks very different from everybody else's. Other things to note on the board, you've got a bungee up at the front there, so you can stash your flip-flops and your drink. You've got your big EVA deck pad, goes right to the tail. There's a nice big chunky tail pad at the back there, which is great obviously for putting your foot against if you're doing step back turns. And I was also reading on the Sandbanks SUP style website how it could become very handy for sunbathing as well as a headrest. I hadn't thought about that, but I can easily see how that kicker could be good for that as well. So just in case, sunbathing, it's got that use as well. Fitted as standard with all the boards, you get a heavy duty coiled leash. Always remember to wear a leash when you're paddleboarding, even on the sunniest of days, because these boards, if you kick the board away from you, they do slide across the water and they'll move very quickly away from you. You've got your D-ring that you can attach your leash to at the back, and then you've got your inflation valve. There's also a D-ring under the nose of the board as well, so if you want to tie it or tow it behind a boat, you can do it with that. All of the 4 boards in the different graphics have the same features, it's just the graphics that are different. By turning the board over, you really get to see what that graphic is like, and it is bright and bold, and it hasn't scratched at all when we've been using it, so it looks quite well impregnated into the PVC. Apart from the graphic, what else have you got? You've got your 2+1 fin setup, you've got your side fins, which are the indestructible sort of solid fins that you could ram up the beach, let the kids trash them, do whatever you want. That's the sort of fin setup you could have. You could take your center fin out if the kids are playing around in the shallows and just run it with the 2 side fins. With the fin this year is different from the last year's Ultimate SUP that we tested from Sandbanks SUP style. They're using Shark SUP's quick fix fin system now, which we tested before. It's a really neat little system, new on the market. Very easy to clip in, lock back, and away you go. No screwdrivers, no tools needed. Very fast, and we have been using it the whole summer and we haven't found any problems with it so far. Also, the fin itself is nice and deep, fairly swept back with a fairly good area at the top of the fin, making it nice and stable when you're rocking the board from side to side, give you a bit more stability, and it makes the board very easy to paddle in a straight line. So this board is a relatively lightweight board at 9.5 kilos, but you still can get a large amount of PSI pressure in this board. It has a recommended PSI range of 18 to 20 PSI with a max PSI of 25 PSI. So you can get a lot of air in this board. When we put this board through our deflection test, which is where we put it on a gap of 1.5 meters apart, and then we put a weight of 75 kilograms on the center of the board, and then we measure how much the board bends or deflects. We had this board pumped up to 19 PSI, which is in the middle of the range, and it only dropped 14 millimeters. Now that is a very happy, nice, pretty stiff board. The stiffest boards in the market are about 8, and the most flexible at about 25. So you can see you've got a really lightweight board, and it's still got a lot of stiffness. And you could put more PSI in this board if you wanted to make the board stiffer again. So looking at the rest of the package, so you can either go as standard with the plastic blade, an aluminium shafted 3-piece paddle, which is going to be fine to get you on the water. Definitely maybe if you're thinking about paddling 5 or 6 or 7 times a year and you're not really sure if you're getting into it, then this is the sort of paddle that's going to get you on the water. It's going to be absolutely fine for family. It's not the most refined blade shape, but it's going to take you places and you're not really going to have many complaints. Fully adjustable, so you can get lots of different heights of paddlers on there. The carbon blade is way lighter. It's lighter than last year's. The blade shape is much more refined. You can see it's a much better profile. The weight difference is quite dramatic between the two. It's still a 3-piece paddle, so it unclips in the middle there. Take it apart and you've still got the full adjustable section on the top there. If you are pretty much going to be, you think SUP is your thing and you're really going to get into it and you're definitely going to be doing it more of a sport regularly, probably just go straight away if you can and upgrade to the carbon paddle. For the £100, it is definitely worth the upgrade to the carbon paddle. The pump you get with the package is a Bravo pump. Probably you could argue Bravo make the best SUP pumps in the world at the moment. This is their double action, so it pumps on the upstroke and on the downstroke, and then when the pumping gets hard you can flip the nozzle over and just pump on the downstroke. We've tested this pump in lots of other board reviews and it's never let us down, and you can get a high amount of pressure into the board. So Bravo is one of the main pump manufacturers in the world, and it's nice to know even with a cheaper price point board you still can get a very good quality pump. Looking at the bag you get with your package, you get a very lightweight, heavy duty sort of material bag. It's wheeled, it's got backpack straps, it's got everything that you would want from a bag. It's even got a section at the back of the bag that you can unvelcro, and you can put your waist strap and your backpack shoulder straps inside, giving you a nice flush back. So if you're traveling on an escalator or in an airport, the webbing straps don't get caught on anything like that. There is padding on the backpack and on the shoulder straps. Not the most padded of bags, but it is adequate at the price point you get with the full package, and it's a bag that's easy to transport your board to and from your paddle location and even take it on an airplane. So moving on to what the Ultimate 10.6 for 2019 paddles like on the water. Well, it's still the magic measurements. It's still 10'6" long. It's still 32 inches wide. A little bit of tweaks on the shape there compared to last year's board. It's a little bit easier to paddle in the glide, a bit more straight line tracking. Still got a nice amount of width to the back of the tail, so it's really easy if you want to get into SUP maneuvers, maybe step back turns, moving around the board. It's got a lot of stability to this board. Having the quick release fin system is really nice to use. We've tested that over the last 4 months really on a few of the different boards. We haven't found any problems with it. It's very quick, simple, and the fin shape again makes it really great for paddling in a straight line. Looking at who it would be best for, weight, ability, and what you could use it for. Well, weight-wise, you're going to be able to paddle it up to about 125, 130 kilos possibly. It's going to sit really comfortably for people being 32 wide, up to 120 kilos. I think you'll find that this width will suit you really well. You could use it for flat water cruising, you could take the family out paddleboarding, you could get into a little bit of surf. If you're getting into the surf with this sort of baseboard, or really any iSUP, that's sort of 6 inches thick, probably up to about waist high, smaller waves. It's going to get you catching those waves. You're not going to do any fast dramatic turns, but it is going to get you into that SUP surfing, which is a great thing. You could even do a bit of light touring. You could even do an overnighter because you have got some small bungees up at the front there. So it pretty much will do everything, and obviously ability wise you could really get into the sport being a first time paddleboarder with this board. So finishing off with pros and cons and value for money. Well, the pros, definitely the graphics have got to be up there for the pro. Having that choice at that price point, there's nothing really out there that does that at this price point, so that's definitely one of the pros. It's a very nice all-round shape. It's going to get you on the water comfortably, first time paddler, and it's got everything you need to maybe do your step back turns with your kick pad, and it's got a small bungee up at the front. So really a well designed and bring the value for money in there, good price point SUP that many other SUPs in the market, they may be at this price point, but maybe they haven't got a Bravo main brand pump, or the bag is a little bit more basic. So overall value, it's actually very good at the price point it is. And cons, it's a shame the D-rings aren't a little bit further apart to give you a bit more area with the bungees, and you could put a slightly bigger dry bag in there, and maybe it's a shame that they're not the same colour as the board. They're all finished off in the black, but that is probably me being a little bit picky. So there we go, that's the SUPboarder review of the Sandbanks SUP Style Ultimate Art 10'6". 4 boards, all the same, different graphics. The choice of graphics is up to you, but if you're looking for an all-round paddleboard to get you on the water and you do not want to spend very much money, then the Sandbanks SUP Style Ultimate Art board range of boards could be a good range of boards to look at. If you found that video useful, give us a like, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and make sure you're watching this video on the SUPboarder Mag website, where we'll have more gallery shots, more sliders, more information about the board in general. But until next time, we'll see you on SUPboarder and on YouTube. Thank you very much.